All right, so the next thing you're going to need to buy is a fabric to use for the screen. Now, again, if you were doing traditional screen printing, there's fabrics that are sold for that purpose, and they're not like outrageously expensive, but you pay some money for them, and they're kind of these special fabrics that are used for screen printing. They're either silk or synthetic, or there's kind of different ones you can get. For this method, you don't really even need to look for those fabrics. You can go to a fabric store and just kind of look around and see what they have. You will almost certainly be able to find several fabrics at a fabric store you can use for screen printing. Now, the properties you want are, first of all, you want it to be pretty thin, okay? And you want it to be fairly, you can see this, it's sort of like almost transparent, almost, but I can sort of see through it, and that's because it's woven out of fairly thin threads. And if I look closely, there's actually some spacing between the threads, right? And what I mean by that is, if you look at a fabric like, a cotton knit, like my t-shirt's made of, you can't really see through the holes in the threads. And more than that, it has kind of a complex knit to it, so it's not really built that way. A fabric like this is really just a very, very simple kind of grid of threads, and there's holes between them, okay? So that's kind of basically what you're looking for. Now, the size of the holes in the fabric are going to determine the detail that you get in your image. So if you have really, really small holes, you'll be able to get, a little bit more detail. A fabric that has kind of larger holes in it, you get a much kind of rougher image. And you don't want the pores, the holes in your fabric to be too big, because you still need to be able to kind of seal them off with the glue that we're going to be using later. Another thing about your fabric is you don't want it to be stretchy. Okay, and that's really important. You want it to kind of be, fairly, all fabric stretches a little bit, but you don't want a stretchy fabric. You want one that kind of will retain kind of its shape and its strength if you kind of stretch on it. But so I don't know if you can see this, you probably can't see through it, but it's kind of it's not a gauzy fabric, but it is a thin fabric. And they often sell things like this for use in, curtains, or I don't know, maybe like the hems of dresses and skirts or whatever. Just look around and find something. It kind of doesn't matter what color it is. I like white because it's easier to trace your image. You probably want to get a light color because if you're going to be tracing your image onto it. So that's your fabric.